roles are at the actual company.
Yes, thank you, Derek. Good afternoon, everyone. William Ellis, Director of Governmental and External Affairs. I lead our public policy division for the company. I am a Prince George's County resident, and I had the pleasure of being on the Climate Action Committee, who put forth our recommendations to get us to 100% clean energy by 2050. So really excited to be sitting with you all here today. I spent a long portion of my career overseeing our clean energy solutions, which is our energy efficiency as well as electric vehicle programs for the company. So appreciate you all inviting us today.
Thank you, Will. And Devesh?
Thank you as well. Devesh Gupta. I am Director of Clean Energy Solutions for Baltimore Gas and Electric. And while I'm not a Prince George's resident, I am a proud member of the foundation board here at Bowie State. So I was really excited to see that this climate discussion was happening here at Bowie. So, you know, my team, not that dissimilar from Will's team. We are the go-to-market arm for all of the customer-facing programs that are providing some of the climate solutions for our customers. So think about energy efficiency, building electrification, electric vehicle programs, as well as now, at this point, virtual power plants that we're proposing to roll out in Maryland as well, and some battery storage programs too. Load management overall, as we think about, you know, how do you make sure that these our push for electrification can be managed by the system. How are we incentivizing customers to participate to help in that, and to create a more resilient grid in the face of climate, the changes in climate that we're facing as well.
Thank you, Devesh. One of the first questions we're going to begin with is, gentlemen, please tell us about what your energy efficient programs can do for residents and why they were created.
Yes, I'll start. First, I'll say, you know, the reason why I love energy efficiency, because I truly believe that the cheapest kilowatt hour is the one that is never used. And the great thing about energy efficiency, it doesn't necessarily require you to change anything. It uses technology to be able to save you energy, right? You go from a incandescent light bulb to a LED light bulb. You don't have to do anything differently, but just that change in technology saves you money on your bill. And so that's, you know, one of the founding premises that we have is how do we allow customers to be comfortable in their home and save energy at the same time. You know, there's a couple of tips I'll leave you with, but I'll start by saying, you know, one of my favorite movies is Game of Thrones. Not sure if you know what's coming after that, but winter is coming. That's right, winter is coming. And so we want to make sure that our customers are prepared, as we know that with climate change, our winters are becoming more and more severe. They're becoming longer. They're becoming more erratic. And having solutions to ensure that you can stay comfortable but keep your bills affordable is first and foremost at the top of our mind as your electric company. And so I'll leave you with just two tips. I'll say two tips as we prepare for this winter in our energy efficiency programs. One is insulation. To me, insulation is one of the great problem solvers within our homes, especially homes within Prince George's County, our large single-family homes. Having the right amount of insulation in your attic and in your walls will save you a ton of energy that your HVAC system, your heat pump, your furnace is just not constantly working to keep your insides cool. The next one is your thermostat. How many folks in this room know what your thermostat temperature is right now at your house? Right now. Excellent. Well, and the great thing about having a thermostat, hopefully your thermostat is a smart thermostat. And we have programs that we'll get into a little later, but right now I can look at my phone and the thermostat at my home right now is set on 67. I'm not there. No one's home. There's no reason to have your thermostat set on 75, 76 degrees. It's just using energy while you're not there.
I think you can give you can 66, 65. You can bring that down. You got some work to do.
Absolutely. I have a dog, though. They're
built for it.
But those are just two tips that I would say that our programs really help you solve between helping you get more insulation in your home and then helping you install a smart thermostat, which I believe is a game changer in terms of just allowing you not to use energy when you're not at the house.
Yeah, and I would stress well, hopefully it's not as we're avoiding it being as apocalyptic as Game of Thrones and when winter comes. But sometimes people will ask, well, aren't you the energy company? Why would you want to support something that has you losing money because you're selling less energy? And the thing about Maryland, the way that the utilities are set up, we are just pipes and wires companies. We are not making a profit on the electrons that are delivered that you're using in your home. And the reason that was done was it was called decoupling, was so that we're not incentivized to push you to use more electricity. That removes that barrier, so we are fully on board in terms of how our incentives are set up in order to help you reduce the amount that you're using at home. That also helps us manage our system, especially as more things electrify, especially as climate gets more severe and we get some colder spells in the wintertime and things. I think, Will, you've laid out some really great tips initially for looking at what's going on in your homes, in in the residents in your communities, in their homes, and how to help. And we have tools that can help with that too, including things like quick home energy checkups that are available to customers. And we made those low to no cost depending on income levels. If you're moderate income, that is a really great opportunity for a professional to come into the house to help residents identify what opportunities are there. Is it as simple as insulation or as weatherizing the windows? That can have a significant impact on bills, especially when you look at say last winter, right? We had what felt like a much colder winter, but was really a winter that was more like winters in the past, but not like the last few winters before that, where we had very mild winters. That was a shock to the system for a lot of residents when those bills came back. And one of the best ways that you can manage those bills, as Will has pointed out, is by making sure your home is as efficient as possible, or the apartment building that you're in, that you're working with the manager there to make sure that building is as efficient as possible. And so there is a lot of opportunity. It is the best way and the fastest way to have an impact on your bill today. So we're definitely proponents of it.
Devesh, thank you. And Will, Devesh, you springboarded a little bit because that was my next question regarding the quick home energy checkup. Could you please, since we are recording this information, could you please share how residents can access? And I also heard you mention apartment buildings as well. So can you also share the mechanism with respect to commercial apartment building owners and others who may want to keep rents affordable in spite of energy increases and so forth? So
absolutely, and
thank you, Devesh.
We encourage that as well for those apartment building managers, whether they're master metered, where there's one meter serving the entire building and they're passing the cost through to residents, or if they have individually metered apartments as well. They're different. It depends on who you are, what programs you might access, right? So for our low-income individuals, those communities and those individuals that are making below 250% of the federal poverty line, the DHCD, the Department of Housing and Community Development, manages the energy efficiency programs. So the same kinds of programs that the utilities have, DHCD develops and delivers for those customers as well, whether they are public housing or low-income housing or actual residents that are low-income residents and may have their own homes as well. The costs for those programs that they deliver are still collected through our bills, but all of those funds DHCD manages and delivers those programs. Now, moderate income, all other customers certainly can access these services from their utilities. The best place to start is, I think, our websites. Everybody's got their smartphone in the palm of their hand. Going to bg.com, pepco.com, and finding our programs can start you on that journey. And one of the first steps you can take is signing up for a quick home energy checkup. Again, it's a no-cost option for many, if not most of our customers. And so it's something that you should access. If you're a commercial customer, a commercial or industrial customer, so say an apartment building that is not serving low-income residents, we have really robust programs and opportunities for commercial entities to take advantage of, again, energy efficiency. In terms of even our disadvantaged communities, so in Maryland, we use the term underserved and overburdened communities as our environmental justice communities. That's the Maryland Department of the Environment has an EJ mapping tool, and they refer to communities where they want us to focus as underserved and overburdened communities. We've deployed more representatives in those communities to work with the businesses that are in those communities to make sure that those businesses are aware of these programs, they're taking advantage of them, because we're trying to reduce emissions in these communities. We're trying to create more economic sustainability in these communities as well, and have those businesses thrive for the benefit of residents, both for the services they might sell, but also for the job opportunities that they might present.
And I'll just say our quick home energy checkup program is one of the best programs that we have to offer. And I really say it starts with you all, because a lot of times our customers may not believe it's real. It's a real program. It doesn't cost anything for a Pepco or BGE customer to participate. And we'll send a qualified energy expert to your home to do an assessment, as well as install up to $250 worth of free measures, things like LED lights. And last year, we just started installing smart thermostats for free. That smart thermostat by itself is $125. But every home should have a smart thermostat. And so for you all, helping to be ambassadors of this program, like our customers, our seniors, you don't have to do it yourself. Our technicians will go in there and install weather stripping around your doors, install tank wrap around your pipes. These are things that's going to save you dollars over the long term, close to $300 a year for your energy bill, and there's no money out of pocket. But a lot of times we have the challenge of, one, passing on this information to folks who need it, and then those actually accepting the information and signing up. So you all can definitely help us spread the word, because these are programs that can save our customers money, as Devesh said, right now and today.
And I should stress, right, the overall programs are a part of what we call the Empower Maryland programs. That's legislatively mandated programs that utilities have to offer. And so all customers are buying into these programs. There is an Empower Maryland surcharge that is on every customer's bill. Everybody is paying for the cost of the overall program, so it's even more important that every resident figures out, how can I take advantage of these programs too, so that they are getting they're not just paying into the program, they're getting the benefits out. These programs, they provide over $2.40 of value for every dollar that's spent in them. We want to make sure that particularly our most vulnerable residents are getting that value, right, and not just paying into the programs.
Will and Devesh, thank you. I just want to dive a little deeper, because there may be some apprehension of individuals who are watching this, low, moderate income. You all mentioned seniors as well. Can you talk a little bit about the income requirements for these programs? I know you mentioned the poverty rate and the index. Roughly, in terms of annual salary or retiree salary, what are we looking at, Will and Devesh, in terms of those eligibility requirements?
Yeah, I'll start with talking about our low-income program. As Devesh stated, our low-income program is currently managed through Department of Housing and Community Development. They manage this program because they can provide a lot of other wraparound services over top of the energy efficiency weatherization that they do. But that program, typically a family of four can make up to $100,000. I believe it's $98,000 to be exact. A family of four can make to participate in DHCD's program. Many of our seniors on fixed income, many of our folks who have retired, they meet those income thresholds, but they haven't just applied for the program. They're still thinking with the mindset that they're working full time, but now as a senior, you qualify for that program. And I'll tell you in the room, that program is probably the greatest program across the country. So I really applaud Maryland for offering that program. That program provides weatherization up to $20,000 per home. When we talk about getting new windows, when we talk about new appliances, a new HVAC system, you name it, I've seen firsthand where customers who couldn't even sit in their living room and watch TV because their home was too cold, there was no insulation, the windows were cracked. They now are really comfortable in their home, and they're saving, their energy bill has been cut in half by this program. So there's some fantastic programs out there, and I just wanted to highlight that one.
Yeah, and I will say, again, right, in the times that we're in, I think moderate income is an increasing number of households, especially in the DMV, I would say, with some of the job losses and things that we've seen. So in addition to the DHCD programs that are serving low income by the thresholds, for instance, BG has a moderate income offer, which is offering a home performance checkup, a lot of the same kinds of things under our QHEC program, but for those moderate income customers, where we're also providing the recommendations. So at no cost to come and have the checkup done, we're also providing the recommendations for where can improvements be made, which of the other incentives might you want to take advantage of, and those solutions then are provided at a lower cost than they otherwise would be, if you were just going to your local Home Depot to try to solve things for yourself and get things done on your own.
Absolutely. And I think one of the, overall thoughts I have is I would love for customers to start with energy efficiency. A lot of times the questions that I get from our customers is, should I go solar? That's the first thing a customer would ask me, Will, I'm thinking about going solar to lower my energy costs. And solar is great. I love customers to go solar because it will help reduce your overall energy bill, but it won't reduce your usage. If you have energy efficiency at the forefront of going solar, then you need a smaller solar system. You don't have to pay as much as solar. So I would always encourage folks, the first thing you should do is make your home as efficient as possible, then install solar over top of that, because the solar system may cost you $25,000, $30,000. Energy efficiency may only cost $2,000. And then if you meet the income requirements, it's even cheaper. And now your solar system may only cost you $20,000 over the life of that system. So energy efficiency has a ton of benefits, and that's why we say the cheapest kilowatt hour is the one that's never used.
Yeah, and some homes may not be good candidates for solar either, depending on which way their roof is facing or how much roof space they have, but every home is a good candidate for energy efficiency upgrades.
We'll say that one more time. In respect to energy efficiency, say it one more time.
The cheapest kilowatt is the one that is never used.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we recognize that you all have a myriad of programs currently underway. We want to do a little bit of forward-facing and look out a little bit in terms of where Exelon is headed with respect to your efforts in energy and things of that nature. There is talk about a proposed low-income rate. Can you please share a little bit more detailed information with respect to some of the current discussions that are underway, providing some type of relief for individuals based on this proposal?
Yeah, so a proposal has been presented to the Maryland Public Service Commission for its review, and the levels, I think, are still being discussed. But this has been after a long period of work with stakeholders in a working group that was stood up by the Maryland Public Service Commission to think about, okay, how can we provide some relief to customers on an ongoing basis, and that is development of a low-income rate. Certainly, we've seen the volatility of SNAP benefits, which do provide some benefit for utility costs. So how can we provide more certainty for those customers to help them manage their budgets? So there's more to come there. We're hoping for a fast decision by the commission on that rate, and at which point we will be out there marketing. But I think you've also seen, at least from the Exelon companies, recognizing that we live and work in these communities. Our customers are also our employees, and in the interim, I don't think we stood by either, and did provide, working with, in the case of BGE, the United Way of Central Maryland, provide relief funds over the course of this year that were very well subscribed for customers that were facing bill challenges.
And I'll just add to that really quickly. Affordability is at the top of our mind as utilities. For both PEPCO and BGE, we want to ensure that our customers can afford to pay their electric bill each and every month. I know firsthand how tough it is for my grandmother, who was the matriarch of my home, trying to keep the lights on. And we know that in this time coming out of the pandemic, our customers are facing real challenges. So we did two things that I highlight off of Devesh. Is one, we created a customer relief fund, focusing on our most vulnerable customers, giving them from $300 to $750 to say, we want to help you pay your bill. But we know that's a short-term fix coming out of this winter. Long-term, with this LMI rate class will do, it will say for our most vulnerable communities that have been historically underserved, we want to match your bill with your income. That is so important because our customers, they may have taken advantage of energy efficiency programs, but they just don't earn enough to not fall into a place where energy security isn't top of mind. If their average bill is $150, but they're only bringing home $500 a month, it presents a lot of pressure on their wallet to pay their energy bill every month. So this low income rate and premise, what it does, it says we're going to cap your energy bill based off a percentage of your income to ensure that not only can you afford to pay your energy bill, but you can then afford to pay your medication. You can then afford to pay your mortgage, so that we're not over creeping into your other expenses in your life. So we're really excited to have that conversation of this low income rate, and we think it's going to provide a significant value to our low to moderate income customers to ensure that they can afford to pay their energy bill each and every month, even in times when it's freezing outside or the temperatures drop below zero. You can have certainty in how much your energy bill will be.
And I'll say just a couple of other things. While we're waiting for a low-income rate to be set, which we are excited to be able to offer up to customers and will provide relief, there are actions that have been taken at the state level that the utilities are partnering with to implement. When you think about, for instance, competition, our customers are not beholden to receive their supply from us. We deliver the energy that they use in their homes, but Maryland is a competitive energy state, and customers can choose to get their supply from third parties. And there were a number of third parties. There have been a number of third parties providing supply to residential customers, and there were nefarious actions happening there where these third-party suppliers, who aren't regulated in the same way as utilities are in terms of the rates, were increasing costs over time. Were going into communities where they knew there were vulnerable customers and signing them up under sometimes a teaser rate and increasing those costs over time. I think everyone around the state saw that this was happening, and legislation did pass that said, hey, if you're going to be in the competitive energy supply business, you cannot do that to customers. You have to offer a rate that is competitive against the utilities backup rate, what we call our standard offer service. Because for customers that don't choose an energy supplier or choose not to or don't have access to, we will always provide energy as well that we're buying in the marketplace, in the wholesale markets, also through competitive processes, so you're always getting a competitive rate. So those suppliers now, for residential customers, have to be able to beat that rate, which does provide some security that against more of the nefarious actors that might have been out there. But there were a lot of customers that were still under contracts that were with at very high rates, much higher than their prices would have been had they been on the utilities standard offer service instead. That's one. I think another that has had some real legs around the state is community solar, right? Again, we talked about how not every customer can take advantage of solar on their home, particularly if they don't own their own home or if they live in an apartment building or a condo building. But with community solar, you can buy into a solar project and receive part of your supply. I mean, it's virtual, right? Because electrons, they're on the system wherever they're produced. You can receive part of your bill can be offset by an amount of purchase from a community solar project. And there are some regulations in place around community solar as well that promote a discount and access for low-income customers as well. And the nice thing about that is with the way that the regulations right now work in Maryland, that offsets not only the energy supply costs that a customer is facing, but also their delivery costs as well, because there is what we call full retail net metering right now, up to a certain cap that we haven't yet hit in the state. So those are all opportunities right now that customers can take advantage of. And again, getting education about those opportunities. You can come to the utilities websites. You can go to the Maryland Public Service Commission's website for some of that information as well. I would say utility website is a nice one-stop shop for a lot of these things.
And I'll just add, of course, you've probably seen our tables outside. Our team members are here. Any of our leaders, our civic leaders, our elected officials, hopefully you know me, but we are happy to come to your congregation, your church, wherever you all want us to be to spread this information. Again, we want to do our part in ensuring that we keep our energy costs as affordable as possible for our customers.
You know, audience members, I want to give a strong thank you as we wrap up to Will and Devesh for their time today. Pepco, BG&E are actually a platinum sponsor of our inaugural summit today, and the education and outreach, in particular as relates to the concept of energy security. And this is a paradigm shift. Years ago, it was the OPEC oil wars, and we're thinking of gasoline, but this is literally, no pun intended, very close to home with respect to energy efficiency programs and other mechanisms that residents and commercial individuals can utilize to strengthen their ability to stay warm. Again, I want to give a round of applause. Please join me to Will